Welcome to Daily Dose Radio, a 5-minute devotional podcast studying the Psalms verse by verse. Broadcast from the ever-beautiful Sharonville, Ohio, on the sunny side of Cincinnati. Hey, welcome back to Daily Dose Radio. This is your home for organic Bible study that's fresh and prepared daily just for you. And so today and all this week, we've been looking at Psalm 81. Today, we're going to be looking at the judgment section, verses 11 through 13. Let me remind you also that Daily Dose Radio has apps. We have an app for your Android device. If you'll go to the Google Play Store, you can find our app on the Google Play Store. Just type in Daily Dose Radio in the search term, and you'll find us there. You might have to scroll down a little bit once it gives you all the possibilities for that search term, and you'll find us. You can download the app. It's free, and you'll have Daily Dose Radio right there at your fingertips on your Android device. Let me read for you today, beginning in verse 11. But my people would not hearken to my voice, and Israel would none of me. So I gave them up unto their own heart's lust, and they walked in their own counsels. Oh, that my people had hearkened unto me, and Israel had walked in my ways. All right, that's verses 11, 12, and 13 on Psalm 81. As I said, this is the judgment section because you can see what's happened here. He's redeemed them from bondage. And of course, this is a recitation of the redemption history between the Lord and Israel. He's made covenant with them, verses 8 through 10. He recites the covenant. And in verse 11, notice, my people would not hearken. And of course, that's exactly what he asked them to do there in verse 8. If thou wilt hearken unto me, then covenant is entered into. But what happens? The people reject him. They would have, notice 11, Israel would have none of me. That's sad. I mean, and isn't that stark? I mean, the contrast there is horribly dark. They not only didn't hearken to him, but they completely rejected the Lord. How many times, friend, is the Lord going to speak to you? How many times is the Lord going to show his goodness towards you? Because, you know, it is the goodness of God that leadeth you to repentance. How much of that will you see in your life, and yet you will have none of him? Because there's going to come a day when there will be no more opportunity. There's going to come a time when your opportunities have closed, and the Lord won't be found by you. Listen, my people would not hearken to my voice. Israel would none of me. So what happens? Here's the judgment piece. I gave them up to their own heart's lust. Now that reminded me of a passage in the book of James. Let no man say when he is tempted, I am tempted of God. For God cannot be tempted with evil, neither tempteth he any man. But every man is tempted when he is drawn away of his own lust, and enticed. And when lust hath conceived, it bringeth forth sin. And sin, when it is finished, bringeth forth death. Do you hear that? God gave them up to their own heart's lust. James tells us that lust leads us away when we're enticed, and when sin is conceived, it brings forth death, and that's exactly what happens in judgment. So they walked in their own counsels. They have rejected not only God but his word, his wisdom, which is eternal and sure, the truth and the knowledge of the truth, which is at hand for them, they out of hand reject. Now, verse 13 is this plaintive cry of the Lord's that he makes on behalf of his people. He says, oh, that my people had hearkened unto me, and Israel had walked in my ways. Why? What would have happened? Look back up there to verse 10. Open thy mouth wide, and I will fill it. You see, the Lord wanted to bless his people. He wanted to do them good. He had redeemed them. He had made covenant with them. If only they had listened to him. If only they had hearkened to him. If only they had walked in his counsels. If only they had followed his heart's desire instead of their own, things would have been different. That my people had hearkened unto me, and Israel had walked in my ways. I hope you'll join me again tomorrow on Daily Dose Radio. Thanks for listening to Daily Dose Radio. I'm David Smith. The music today has been performed by the Bluegrass Experiment. Thanks again for listening. I'll see you next time on Daily Dose Radio.